What does an architect see when he looks at an empty piece of land? Today, I stepped inside his mind to find out. As a child, he saw a city inside a box of blocks and learned curiosity. He wasn't fascinated by building, but was fascinated by possibilities. Internally, he questioned why a building was shaped the way it was, why a room felt different, and the possibilities of building something better. While others played inside the world, he quietly imagines a new one. The other children drew houses while he wondered why the roof looked the way it was, why a window was designed the way it was designed, and why two rooms had different temperature. Growing into a young adult, the aspiring architect studies architecture in school. If he's lucky enough, he experiences no strike action while in school and completes his course of study on time. If he isn't, he learns new skills during strike action or wastes months doing nothing. When in school, he learns about the profession, what architecture really is. Architecture is where imagination meets reality, his lecturer says. He learns that every building begins as a thought, and that an architect's job is not to draw buildings, but to solve human problems through space. School taught him that architects don't simply make beautiful buildings, but they must balance beauty with functionality and human experience. According to his lecturer, anyone can imagine a building. An architect imagines one that can actually stand. He eventually graduates and gets a job. Lucky for him if it's in a good system, and unlucky for him if the system says otherwise. Adulthood finally arrives, and reality asks questions. For architects, there is always a friction between vision and reality. He desires to create beautiful spaces, but reality has other plans. Can creativity survive deadlines? He silently asks. The architect, however, discovers that designing a building was easy, but designing one that could actually be built was the challenge. The young architect wanted freedom, while the experienced architect learned that constraints create greatness, and great design is born from constraints. Architects learn to see possibilities where others see walls, because they are professional dreamers with technical skills. Architects constantly observe the world, noticing light, shadows, and patterns, because to the architect, the world is a classroom. In an architect's mind is someone who obsesses over details and questions what others ignore. His curious mind asks why a room feels welcoming or why a building feels intimidating. In an architect's mind is an ambitious person who wishes to leave a mark on the skyline. In his mind is a frustrated person who has to deal with his design altered and his idea rejected. An architect constantly fears that his work might not be memorable or that his best design might never get built. The architect, however, carries the invisible responsibility of designing experiences. A child takes his first steps in a hospital he designed. A couple says "I do" beneath the ceiling he designed. A student learns in a classroom he designed. The architect may never meet them, yet he shapes the space where the memories were made. The architect is now old and reflective. He stops asking what he can build and starts asking what he has left behind. Because age changes the architect's questions, the architect who once measured success in projects now measures success in impacts. Then I saw him again, the little boy with the blocks, the dreamer, the builder, the architect. Nothing had changed. He was still imagining things that did not exist. The only difference was that now the world could walk inside them. The little boy who once built cities in his imagination never disappeared. He simply grew older, and one day the world began living inside his dreams.